They lost Ye. I'm not really sure exactly what is going on with Cloud9, but things do not look good.
Ye has a
been
stinger.
part
This is
of,
a force
two of the
here.
most
Start.
mysteriously
Oh my
awkward
god, he gets
trades.
one
Now is
judge.
the chance.
And he knows the
This
priest is
game
elite.
They just dropped and then not getting on a team. How's that possible?
Valorant associated with that joke of a team, but
It's a bit ruthless.
Ye's prime is over. More so, his first prime is over. Look, when I made my video on Prime 10s and how good he was, I immediately knew I had to do a video on Ye, because these guys are so absurdly similar in their careers. They're both NA, they both haven't made any major achievements in at least a year, been the target of so much criticism, but they were once considered the GOATs of Valorant, and that last point is so important because I feel like with all the controversy in Ye's career, a lot of people have started to revise history of Ye and completely forget how great this man's legacy already is. In this video, I have taken it upon myself to remind you Reddit and YouTube doomers about Valorant's greatest of all time, about how good he was in his prime. Now, the reason why I say his prime only started in Berlin, even though there were some NV games before that, is because in the games they played prior to Masters, they were still gelling together trying to figure out team chemistry, notably losing to Sentinels in a 2-0 loss with Ye going below a 1.0 rating. And that would be the last time we would see him do so badly for a very long time. Now, NV's 2021 wasn't great, I won't lie. They understandably fell to a top 3 team all time in the Grand Finals of Berlin with Gambit in a 3-0 loss, and got knocked out in Champions by a Southeast Asian team in X10. But you couldn't ask more of Ye because he played his heart out every night and put up monster stats in the process. Through Champions and Berlin, he averaged a 1.38 KD, 269 ACS, and a 1.29 rating. Now, those numbers may not sound like much, but to contextualize it, one of everybody's favorite players, Kang, averaged a 1.05 KD, 226 ACS, and a 1.04 rating at Champions. That's how different Ye is, even in a losing season. I've said this in my previous video, but when you pull up a graphic of the highest performances of all time, Ye's name is not only there once, he does it twice. And the difference between everybody and him was only going to get bigger in 2022. Let's start with Reykjavik, because this one everybody remembers. Or at least I do, because as a PaperX fan, I remember watching every OpTic game trying to scope out the guys I thought we were gonna lose to. It felt like to me, every team in that tournament was playing for second place. Yes, they went to the lower bracket, but they eventually proved that was a fluke by 3-0ing both upper and lower finals. And of course, Ye was Reykjavik's favorite MVP. He had a very sturdy 1.2 rating, 252 ACS, and a monstrous KD of 1.32. The only player I really believe could contest his MVP vote was his own teammate Marv, who was an insane smoker that tournament. But in the end, it's hard to discredit Ye for MVP when he had at least a multi-kill every third round. Next up, we have Copenhagen, which they placed their worst for the entire year. Third place. Where they placed above Fnatic, Loud, and DRX. This was their worst for the entire year, right? And Ye really wasn't to blame for this one. I mean, look at this box score. How do you go positive 15 when your entire team is in the red? Despite losing in the lower finals, Ye still played elite, with an average KD of 1.22, a rating of 1.14, and an ACS of 246, tying him with Ardis and Jing for best players in the tournament by far. OpTic placed second at Turkey, which was incredibly impressive in considering how stacked VCT was at the time. You had so many contenders like Fnatic, DRX, PRX, XZ, Liquid, and FVX. And even though OpTic beat most of them early on, they lost twice to Loud in the playoffs, including the Grand Finals, as a continuation of the legendary Ye and Asper's rivalry, which I have to make a video on someday. Now, even though they came in second, Ye was easily my MVP for that tournament, as he was so far ahead of the competition in terms of stats and impact. I mean, he had a KD of 1.5, a rating of 1.23, and a 254 ACS throughout 23 maps, which again, to put into perspective, the official MVP of the tournament, Penkata, recorded a 1.25 KD, 1.15 rating, and 210 ACS. The difference was insane, and the only reason why he didn't clinch the trophy was because his team failed to show up when it mattered most. I'm not discrediting Lao's win that year, because with the absolute clinic that Ye put up at Turkey, I believe he could have won in any other VCT tournament if not for that Loud super team. Ultimately, I have to stop the video here. We all know what the downfall looks like with the move to Cloud9, the death to Cloud9, the move to TSG, the winless season. You get the idea, right? I pray for the day Ye's prime returns, mostly because he's on a Singaporean team right now and I die for an APAC major win, but also because he's one of the consensus GOATs of Valorant and I'd hate for revisionist history to write his name off in the books because he's had a bad year behind him. Anyway, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you again next time.